So as you know, my name's Ron, and it's a pleasure to be here. I founded the Mankell Foundation about 20 years ago. That was before it was turbocharged by this wonderful team I've got, and you'll meet all of the team here today as you move around. And Andrew's asked me to work from notes because he knows I usually speak for an hour or two. So this is my 5 minutes. Now listen, back in October 2010, through our student involvement, we became aware that the study of Western civilization was completely overlooked at the university level, completely absent. It was possible to obtain a university degree in studying alternative cultures and religions, but not the core foundations of Australia's success as a nation. It seems strange that we could not study the reasons for our success. So to counter this problem, Mankell approached IPA and organised a Perth conference called the Sunrisers in the West. A wide range of local and international speakers accepted our invitation to speak, and fortunately we recorded all those speakers, and those videos are all up on the Mankell website. And upon reflection, looking back now, to my amazement, very few of the people over 40 years of age that we approached to participate and attend that had any idea what we were talking about when we used the words Western civilization. It was completely alien to them. They didn't realise that really is central to all the building blocks, the property rights, the individual rights, the rule of law that have been central to creating investment, industry and civil society in Australia. So 7 years after our original conference by public request, here we are again. We're doing it again. What's changed? What's changed in those intervening 7 years? I think our concerns have become more apparent to a larger circle of commentators, and the language of Western civilization is spoken over a broader front, encouraged by the continuation of the Western Civilization Project by IPA and others. IPA sent me an email this year stating, this is what they said: because of Mankell's support for the Foundations of Western Civilization program, the IPA was able to undertake a systematic review of all 746 history undergrad courses taught in 2017 at the 35 Australian universities which offer history as a program of study. This report by Dr. Bella Dabrera, is that better? Found that the teaching of history has moved away from the study of significant historical events and periods to a view of the past seen through the narrow lens of class, gender and race. So that's where we've come under our existing educational regime. So it's a pleasure to have IPA, and there's an IPA team are with us today, along with a carefully selected group of notable speakers, and they'll all be introduced to you individually as we go through the day. It's Mankell's vision that the best years for Australia are out there in front of us, but only if we continue to invest in the brightest minds of the next generation, many of them you'll meet here today. Today's yet another building block in creating a better future. But today we've got limited time for complaining. You have been selected as activists, not passive complainers. Let's make a few assumptions so we don't have to waste too much time on it. Let's make some assumptions like, number one, politics in Australia is completely broken. Number two, faith and confidence in politics, and for that matter, corporate Australia, due to crony capitalism, is at an all-time low. Next one, government is out of control with the belief that the solution to too much debt is yet more debt. Student loan debt currently at $52 billion. Just think of that. $52 billion in outstanding student loans, all represented in our national accounts as an asset. If the politicians were corporate directors, they'd all be in jail for misrepresenting assets in that fashion. Australia is currently spending $1 billion building Islamic schools throughout the countryside in Indonesia. The Indonesians are offended that we're meddling in their internal affairs. What are we doing there? Anyway, I got a list of all these things I could go through, and I brought them just in case no speakers turned up today and I could I could fill the day. But fortunately they're all here, so I don't have to go on at all. So today as activists, let's work toward ending the day with a list of things that we can do and will do to rectify the problems outlined by our speakers through the day. Don't leave it to the politicians or the universities to solve these problems, which are largely of their own making, through the natural inclination of self-interest. Australia's got a great constitution, which recent events show is not really widely read by our politicians. The Samuel Griffith Society is to be congratulated for raising our consciousness of the power and contents of the Constitution. Politicians think the Constitution is there to protect them from us, the people. Many of us think the opposite. We think the Constitution is there to protect us from them, from the politicians. My old philosophy teacher, Professor John Hosmer, puts it this way: the Constitution protects individual citizens against the power of government by specifying that government is permitted to do only, and what boundaries it comes across it must not cross. A government may only do that which the Constitution permits. That which is not explicitly permitted is forbidden. On the other hand, private citizens under such a political system have unlimited freedom within the sphere of their own property rights and personal rights.